callers, authors, speakers, and artists, talking recovery in its many forms to overcome and rise above the addictions, vices, devices, or distractions that may ail you or someone you know. Educate and empower. It's Recovery Collective Radio with Tom Liu, Wednesdays 5 to 6 on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Initialize sequence.
Hey, what up, you guys? It's your girl, Vivica 5.
This is Kelly Preston. I'm so excited.
Hey, this is Vern Slayer.
I'm Kirstie Alley.
I'm Kathleen Gatti from General Hospital, Dr. Liesel Obrecht.
Hello, I'm Butch Patrick.
John Snyder. You're listening to Dawn Reese on Hollywood Connection.
Lights, camera, action.
Hollywood Connections is here to help you get connected in show business.
Tune in to Hollywood Connections with Dawn Reese, Fridays from 8 to 9 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hi, this is John Austin, host of the Book Club on the Tan Talk Radio Network. I spent 35 years in publishing, and today I want to tell you about a book that could change your life. The book is No Cash, No Problem. The author is Dave Wagenford. Dave Wagenford is one of the greatest barter experts in the world. He's bartered over $500 million in goods and services. If you want to remodel your home, but the cost is just too high, or maybe there's an automobile that you have dreamed of owning, but thought you just couldn't afford, well, this book will allow you to do both of those things, plus hundreds more with little or no cash. Maybe you're a business owner with a cash flow problem that leads to low or non-existing profits. Read this book and see how you can increase your cash flow and your profits by time-proven techniques. The book again is No Cash, No Problem, and you can buy it now online at www.tantalknetwork.com. Click on the book and follow the instructions, or pick up the phone and call Lola at 727-441-3311. The book costs only $6.99, so do yourself a favor and buy the book today.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
It's Monday. Do you need some Monday motivation? The Shop Local for Good News team is here. I'm Karena Morrison.
And I'm Lisa Walls.
And we're bringing you the good news stories of our neighbors doing good in our neighborhoods.
You can find us on Facebook Live on the Shop Local for Good page, and we're looking forward to your calls.
Let's get this Shop Local for Good News conversation started, shall we? All right, we are live on the Tan Talk Network. I'm Karena Morrison.
And I'm Lisa Walls.
And this is Monday Motivation, the Shop Local for Good News show. We have a studio full of guests that we're excited about introducing to our neighbors in Greater Tampa Bay. But we would like to first introduce ourselves a little bit. Lisa and I have a story that goes back, almost 10 years.
Yeah, almost 10 years.
10 years. But how we met was pretty interesting. Kind of random by chance, if you believe in those kind of things, a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So basically anybody who knows me knows that I battle with direction, especially on technology advices on how to drive places.
Are you talking about GPS?
I'm talking about GPS. Well, this was before Google Maps. It was that lady that kept rerouting you, those little things. So I was on my way to a meeting of moms that wanted to learn more about how to make a difference in their community. And it was the first meeting. And I was driving around St. Petersburg looking for the place. And I came into the meeting, and I immediately noticed this lady in the corner furiously taking notes. And Lisa's phenomenal at taking notes, by the way. And she had already stepped up as a volunteer to take notes. So that struck me as, a fellow serial volunteer, and I'm not talking Lucky Charms here. So during that meeting, my family knows that I can't go to a meeting without volunteering something. So I volunteered to be the school board captain, to keep an eye on the school board for the moms and go speak and see what was going on. And over the next few months, we went from local volunteers all the way up to the state level for this mom group. And then we ended up taking the ultimate road trip in 2010. We drove all over the state of Florida. We Google Map wise, we drove 2,010 miles, but
we drove much more than that.
Yeah, because we ended up in Georgia a couple times. I mentioned the directions thing, right?
Well,
So-
and we got to talking. So
yes,
whoops, missed that exit.
we still do that.
We still do that.
Okay, so so we traveled around Florida. We got to meet hundreds of moms in their communities that were looking for just some inspiration on how to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
We spent the last decade in Greater Tampa Bay and beyond, connecting with small business owners who are actually, reinvesting their limited time and capital back into where the causes in our community. And so last year we took the leap, and I left the corporate world and drug. I didn't have to drug. I brought Lisa and her husband with me into the Shop Local for Good launch. And we've just been, it's our mission is to connect the people who care in our community.
Yeah.
We want to promote and tell the stories behind the small business owners who are doing good in our neighborhoods and the nonprofit leaders. There's a lot of very worthy local nonprofits in our community, mostly all volunteer managed and organized. And Lisa can tell you that, there's a misunderstanding that some of these nonprofits aren't worthy because they're not rated by the national.
Yeah. Anybody who knows the people working with these nonprofits would never have that understanding. But if you're looking at things from on high and you have a choice of where to nationally distribute your funds, you have a criteria you've set that unfortunately a lot of these smaller nonprofits can't meet.
Right. For example, one of the national rating services, if your nonprofit can't reach, I think it's $1 million a year for 5 years in a row in fundraising, they won't even rate you. Wow. And unfortunately, it's one that everybody looks to see if you're respectable. So that's part of the message that we'd like to get out to the community. To me, it's better to meet the people, which is why we've got some special guests today.
Yes, we do.
And we're going to have for the next couple of months because we've got a big event coming up.
Yes, we do.
All right. Who out there loves mac and cheese?
Me.
Me too.
Do y'all love mac and cheese?
Yeah. We got hands going up.
Yeah.
I want to give a thank you to our producer, Ed, for coming out on Labor Day. Yay, Ed. And I also want to thank my daughter who is behind the camera on the Facebook Live. We're also streaming live on the Tan Talk Network YouTube channel. So you can find us on YouTube if you want to see what we look like.
At 7 a.m. on Labor Day.
Yeah. But for everybody that's out there listening to us on your radios, we are honored that you are spending early Labor Day morning and we're getting you started on this. I do want to mention some of the good news that you can use. We did mention the annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival. That is this year going to be once again at the beautiful campus of New Hope Church up in Palm Harbor.
Yeah, and if you're on keto, that's your cheat day. Just schedule it right in your calendar, November 3rd. That's your cheat day.
Yeah, it'd be really, really good.
Right.
For the couple days before.
Right, and eat a big salad later that night. Right?
Yeah, and then everybody's good.
Yeah. Then you're good.
Moderation, everything in moderation. So we do, that's from noon to 5 p.m. on November 3rd. We've got early bird armbands, activity armbands that are available right now. Bonus. And those include, there's going to be 2 activity zones, a toddler zone that I bought 1,000 of the ball pit balls. Oh, wow. Because they have a little ball pit in there. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look like enough. I might go and get another 1,000. I'm looking at the box going, how big is this ball pit? And then we've got...
and we'll tell you later how to get access to those bonuses, those early bird specials. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to go with that. The early bird activity bonuses, we've got a limited supply of either a free face painting coupon or a free balloon animal. So you want to get the early bird activity armbands early. That's why they're called early bird, because we want to treat you special. And then the first 100 families that sign up with their activity armbands will be getting our Passport to Local Savings program, our publication.
That's a bonus on top of a bonus.
It's a huge bonus.
Oh my God.
That's hundreds of dollars in savings at local businesses. And it's a really sharp personal organizer. I have one in my bag. I'll get it on the first commercial break so we can show our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel.
That's right. The privilege of accessing us through YouTube and Facebook.
Yes.
You get to see the stuff.
Right.
Cool.
So for the next 6 weeks, you want to tell them what we've got coming up?
Absolutely. One thing that we have not mentioned about mac and cheese and why it's so special besides the obvious cheese and macaroni, is that the proceeds for the event actually contribute to 6 worthy nonprofits.
Actually 8.
Oh, well, 8 total.
6
right?
are competing, yeah.
6 are competing for the...
It's the People's Choice.
The People's Choice Awards.
We've got people. We want the people's voice to be heard, so they're going to be voting for their favorite local nonprofit.
Right. So of those 6 who are competing for the People's Choice, we have a guest representing each of those nonprofits with us each week coming up for the next 6 weeks.
Yes.
So today we are here in the studio with Barry Sullivan of New Hope Church. He is the youth pastor, and he brought one of the youth with him, and we will have some questions for them and let them talk about, what's on their hearts and, what they're doing and what kind of projects are going on there. And,
Yeah. So we didn't just go on the street and invite audience members. These are special people sitting in here.
No, we didn't have to do that
at
today.
the studio.
But we reserve the right to do that in the future. So
Right.
if you're walking around
That
downtown
has happened.
Clearwater, that might happen to you. So yes, and so that's that. And we want to also thank New Hope Church because it's their property.
Yes.
That Macaroni and Cheese is actually going to be on.
And it's such a beautiful property.
It's a beautiful campus.
It
So
is.
we are very grateful for them offering their property for the event. So they're here with us today. Yay. And then at the event, oh my gosh, you had to talk about this part.
Okay.
Because I go squee every time
All right. I've got this year for entertainment, we have Folk University. They are a phenomenal band, a local band. And we really appreciate Mike Twitty and John Chambers for coming out to spend the afternoon with us. They actually played at Summerfest for Good. And they also played at a veterans fundraiser, which is, I walked up to them. I was the guest bartender that night. And during one of their breaks, I'm like, I need your card. You've got to play at one of my upcoming events because they're really good.
Awesome.
And so they're going to be there. And they, I didn't have to voluntold them, but they're going to be judges for Tampa Bay's Best Mac and Cheese too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. They're like, okay, twist our arm. Yes, we'll be judges. So we're good with them.
They have to taste all the mac and cheese.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
It's such a hard job.
It
How come
is.
You didn't ask me to be a judge.
Because I'm going to be making you work.
Oh, okay.
You're going to be manning the Benevolution tents because the Benevolution Foundation is the nonprofit arm of Shop Local for Good. And the Benevolution Foundation will be managing all the voting, the People's Choice voting. Basically, how it works is it's a $2 donation to the Benevolution Foundation. You get to pick either the foodie favorite, the sweetest treat, the favorite local shopping, and your favorite local nonprofit. You can vote up to 4 times or as many times as you want. And then Benevolution Foundation will be compiling the proceeds of all the votes and issuing grants for everybody. And what I did this year that is a little different because I'm different. We encouraged and gave the option to the competitors to pick their favorite local nonprofit that will be benefiting from their votes. So each of the 6 nonprofits, with the exception of the Benevolution Foundation, actually has 14 members in different categories that are going to be encouraging their supporters to vote for them, and then the proceeds will go to the nonprofits.
That's awesome.
It's people power.
Yeah.
Maximize the people power.
So we have voting, we have Folk University, we also have a deluxe petting zoo.
Yes, Marusa with Noah's Ark Petting Zoo on wheels. is coming back out. We've got the deluxe petting zoo, and Lisa's ultimate most favorite activity is coming back. It's the pony rides.
Oh my God, it's so cute to see those little babies on the ponies. I mean, that is a photographic moment.
I
love
have
that.
to tell you to do share. And I do want to talk with you, Barry, about your business too, because he's got a drone business.
Oh no, that's one of the other pastors.
Oh, I'm so
but
sorry.
I can tell you about him.
Okay, great.
Now let's talk about other people while we're here.
Yes, especially on the radio. Nobody. Okay.
But there's also toddler and kid zones.
Yes.
At the Mac and Cheese. So, which was very smart, I have to say. I don't see this done a lot, but you thought of this, that when you've got your kids playing around in your bounce houses and the craziness that goes on, you might need a special place for the little ones.
Yeah, I like to learn from lessons. Last year we had a rock climbing wall, an inflatable rock climbing wall that got not used much. I was shocked. And then all the kids wanted to be in the same bounce house.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm a mom, and the volunteers were phenomenal. But there was, there's when the bigger kids want to be in and the little kids, it could cause a little bit of anxiety, shall we say. And so.
Weren't you running the bounce house last year? The slide or something?
Were you at the rock climbing wall?
That was my little brother.
Oh, okay. I felt so bad because it just sat there. I mean, some people did, but so we got a bounce house for big kids,
mm-hmm.
and then the toddler zone, which is it's bigger and it's like shaped in a zoo shape.
Oh wow!
So, and then it has the ball pit, and for all you moms out there, I bought brand new balls for it. So nobody's
drooled
good,
on
yeah.
your
yes.
the things your children are going to
get there early.
Get there.
So I do want to thank, I want to thank the law offices of Fran Hosh, the Fran Hosh Law Group.
Mm-hmm.
They are returning this year as a sponsor.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Their team is just such a pleasure to work with, and they do so much in sponsoring community events. And, it just so happens that one of them lives close by. I'm not going to mention who.
But their offices are in Palm Harbor.
Yes.
So of course
yes.
that's home for them. And they really have been terrific. And so has Ignite Chiropractic.
Ignite Chiropractic, Dr. Serrano, he actually stepped up first. And I'm really excited about their team. Their team's going to be there offering free massages. So when I announced that, I got contacted by, I don't know, 4 or 5 of the vendors and the nonprofits. Put me next to them. I'm like, look, guys, there's only 4 sides to the tent, and one of them has to be open. So, but now Dr. Serrano's really awesome, and I really enjoy his attitude with his practice, especially when it comes to. He was speaking the other day, and someone asked him, because he coaches people on their diet. And someone asked what kind of foods they should stay away from. And his response was just perfect. He's like, if God created it, then, basically you should be able to eat it, with exceptions.
Well,
yes.
I mean,
you don't want to eat a poisonous plant. I'm not suggesting you should do that. Neither is he. But anyway, I love his family.
Yeah. But that is really good advice. So
they're also going to be in the passport too.
Oh, cool. But offering free massages at Mac and Cheese.
Yeah, so you're getting your carb overload and a massage.
You're going to need it.
Yes.
But that's awesome. That's really great of them. And and then we've got the People Choice Awards, which we mentioned, but it's also there are People's Choice Awards for food trucks and market vendors. Is that true?
Yeah. So the Tampa-based Best Macaroni and Cheese, like I mentioned, will be judged by a celebrity panel. We have Edie Darling with Edie Darling's 3 is Enough. Give her a shout out. I know she's listening.
Hey, Edie.
And we have John Chambers and Mike Twitty with Folk University. And we have Eddie Adams Jr. with Porch Talk Radio.
Awesome.
We want to give him a shout out too. He's coming over after his show that day. And that's 4 judges. And then we have the People's Choice Awards. So foodie favorite. The food vendors will be competing for foodie favorite. You can vote online now. And if you go to shoplocalforgoodnews.com, there's a banner that will take you to shoplocalforgood.com. So I'm going to just have you skip all over the place. You can go directly to shoplocalforgood.com and you'll see all the categories where you can vote.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Tampa Bay's Sweetest Treat. We got the Brain Freeze Please team returning to defend their title. Give a shout out to Nakaya and her family. They do rolled ice cream. It's phenomenal.
Yes.
And then we have a funnel cake vendor that's competing with her. Fried Oreos. She's got fried Oreos.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You're going to have to I'm going to have to starve myself the week before is what's going to happen.
Just research carb cycling, y'all. Just because you can do this. If you're on keto, you can do this. Just carb cycle and you'll figure it out.
And then we have Danielle's Delicious Desserts for Sweetest Treats. And one more, which I will mention next week.
Or later in the show. We have a lot coming up later in the show.
And then we've got all the market vendors. Local shopping.
Yes.
They are competing for the People's Choice Award of Favorite Local Shopping.
Hey.
Remember, all your votes for these vendors, they have selected the nonprofits. If you go to the annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival Facebook page, you'll see the albums of who's running and who they're supporting.
Yes.
So it's just keep in mind that your $2 vote that you cast is a donation to the Benevolution Foundation grant for each of the nonprofits that are competing.
Absolutely. But it's the core of what we're accomplishing at Shop Local for Good. Everybody asks us, oh, you're a Shop Local group? You try to get people to shop local? Well, it's Shop Local for Good for a reason.
Yes.
Because the point is not just shopping local. That in itself, it has huge value. We need to be doing that when we can. But when you shop local for good, you're actually supporting a merchant or an entrepreneur who's supporting a nonprofit in your community.
Right in your neighborhood.
Right in your neighborhood.
We're all about empowering the consumer dollar towards good.
Yes.
So, all right. And then I do want to briefly mention that PB and Jelly Deli, they are competing for Foodie Favorite, and the proceeds of their votes will be going right back to their mission, because PB and Jelly Deli is not only a gourmet peanut butter and jelly food truck. Wow. They are also a nonprofit.
Yes.
And what they do is every sandwich that they sell, they collect money and then they go out and they make sandwiches and feed hungry families in our community. And then we have the Pinellas County Explorer Post 900.
Mm-hmm.
Their phenomenal volunteers are returning, and we're figuring out a way for them to help them raise funds too, because why not?
And we're talking about mac and cheese, November 3rd, noon to 4 p.m.
We are.
New Hope Church in Palm Harbor. And speaking of New Hope Church,
I would love to introduce our very patient guests that are sitting here. I'm Barry Sullivan. You are the youth pastor for New Hope Church. And we have your special guest. Would you like to introduce?
Hayden O'Byrne.
Hayden O'Byrne. Thank you for getting up so early this morning and joining us. But Barry, what I want to get your feedback on right before, in a couple minutes, we're going to go and do a little bit of a commercial break. Mm-hmm. But just before we do that, I'd like to get a little bit of insight on what drew you to the youth ministry.
Oh, wow.
Deep question for 7:30 in the morning on a Monday.
Let's go way back. Yeah, it was funny. I wanted to, when I was a teenager, I grew up in the 80s, and I wanted to be something that made money, like a stockbroker or something. I don't know. And then when I was 16 years old, I was at a summer camp, and in one of the services really felt the drawing of, the Lord to enter into ministry. And when I responded to that, I knew it was going to be youth ministry, and just had a heart for my generation and to help other young people experience the Lord the way I did. So ever since then, it's just, I've youth pastored, I've been on the mission field. I'm also the missions pastor at the church. We've done a lot of stuff, but it's always, my heart's always come back to young people.
That's the future.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is great.
And we love that because, we are about building community.
Mm-hmm.
And if it weren't for our youth pastors in our community helping raise up youth with parents who have challenges, there are a lot of youth who wouldn't help build that community. So
That's true.
We're grateful.
All right, we're going to take a short break. And then when we come back, we'll get into more of Barry's story and a little bit more about what New Hope Church is going to be doing with the funds that you're raising at Mac and Cheese.
And we're going to hear from Hayden.
And we're going to hear from Hayden, too. All right, we'll be back.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
If you love literature, you know nothing makes you feel closer to home than works by local authors. Right now, find printed collections by acclaimed poets and writers of Gulfport at MarketSpace for Good's Local Authors Showcase, 6785 46th Avenue North in St. Petersburg. Stop by and let the Shop Local for Good team arrange to have your purchase autographed by the author. The Local Authors Showcase, 6785 46th Avenue North in St. Petersburg.
Macaroni and Cheese is coming back to Palm Harbor to the beautiful campus of New Hope Church. And we are looking for you to give you early bird armband specials with Noah's Ark Petting Zoo coming back with their pony rides and more. We want you to get the bonuses that we're offering. That's shoplocalforgood.com to find the early bird activity armband bonuses at the annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival. Get your early bird armband specials at shoplocalforgood.com.
For years, Gulfport has been a haven for artists, poets, and storytellers. And now something special is happening in Gulfport. Now, Sumitra Espresso Lounge is hosting weekly live readings by local poets and short story writers. Each reading is followed by an open mic segment. Sip on your favorite espresso while listening to local published authors or present your own work every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Sumitra Espresso Lounge is located at the corner of Beach Boulevard and 29th Avenue in downtown Gulfport.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And we're back. Welcome to Monday Motivation with the Shop Local for Good News team. We are here with Barry Sullivan. He's the youth pastor of New Hope Church in Palm Harbor, which is the lovely location of this year's annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival, which will be a fundraising opportunity for actually 8 nonprofits in the area. 6 of them will be competing for the People's Choice Award, which let's give a little bit of a insight on what that's going to do. If you win the People's Choice Award, what will happen is Shop Local for Good is going to spotlight the story of the nonprofit on our website for the year. Mm-hmm. And obviously the proceeds from all their votes will be awarded from the Benevolution Foundation to the project that they have identified a need for. And New Hope Church has identified a need for your youth activity center. So if you can just go into a little bit of what the youth is involved with in your community and how the funds raised will help your youth activity center, that would be great.
All right. Yeah. Well, we really encourage our young people to get involved in the different things that the church is doing. Some of the things that we do throughout the year, obviously we're hosting this event, but we have a representation of our people there. But we do like our VBS every summer. We have the young people involved in that. We've got monthly outreach where we help to feed. We go into a needy community in the family, needy community within the community, and we help to feed families there. To be a part of that, we do an outreach at Thanksgiving, giving away free, Thanksgiving dinners to different families. We encourage the kids to be involved in that. And then we also have what's called the Hope Tree outreach, similar to Angel Tree at Christmas time, where we get the whole church involved in giving to needy families there as well. We're going to be doing a block party outreach in Tarpon Springs in, I think, the end of October, where the whole church is going to go out, and we're going to partner with some other churches in the community. And again, just bringing clothes and food and toys and music and just a really good time to one of the communities within Tarpon, and we're going to get the teenagers involved in that. So really, it's just trying to get them to see that they're part of the life of the church and that, we're all doing this together, hand in hand.
Well, and that the church is part of the community.
Yes, exactly.
And that's, wow. It is such a joy to work with the leadership team of the New Hope Church. I was just so blessed working with Pastor Karen and Pastor Nick last year. And, when they mentioned that they wanted us to come back, that was a yay moment for me. So I'm just really blessed that you guys do so much for your community and that you encourage your teenagers, because what I have found in some teenagers, it's not that they don't have empathy. They haven't been exposed to people who have less than them.
Right.
So they have to develop those skills.
Yeah.
They have to understand that not everybody is as blessed as they are and that they can do something about it.
Yeah, it's true. One of the big things that's part of my life and my heart, I just mentioned earlier, was missions. And over the years, I've taken just hundreds of young people on missions trips because I want them to see, like what you're saying, that there are people that are in the world that have less than them, and to be exposed, that come back with a heart that maybe they can, carry over into outreach in the community, to show them then that there's people in the community that you live in that are just like this as well, that they can reach out to.
And Tarpon has some poor neighborhoods up there.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A dear friend of mine worked for their fire department. And so, yeah.
Well, and you're sending these kids back to school with deeper empathy and a deeper sensitivity to other people, and they can make a difference and set a standard in terms of behavior among their peers, and demonstrate that reaching out. So many of our young people in schools are just feeling so alone.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for other young people who are being raised up to lead them and hold out their hand and say, hey, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. That's so critical for our young people today.
Yeah, there was actually something we did last year. We're going to do it again. Community-wide, we're hoping to have several thousand participate with us, is something called the 40-Day Revolution, where they were challenged for 40 days to give something up, like a media element, a food element. And then during that time, they were challenged to reach out specifically. We gave them 40 specific assignments where it was blessing people at their school, praying for people at their school, serving people at their school. So it might be writing a note to a principal, saying, hey, I appreciate you, or doing something special for their teacher, or picking up the trash in the cafeteria at lunch one day. Again, just getting them to see that they can do these simple things to serve people, in their immediate environment at school every day, and hopefully have an impact.
Wow. And we have Hayden here. Hayden,
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to participate in that? And what was it like?
Right after I started coming to this, or right after they started it, I started coming to this church. So I wasn't really involved in it, but I was doing some of it.
So it drew you to the New Hope family, maybe that program. Did you get involved with it, or how did you get drawn to the New Hope Church family?
Well, at first I was just like going to youth group, just to go, and then I actually started to become more involved into the whole thing.
Great.
Very cool. So, have you been able to kind of reach out in your school or, to some friends and try to put some of this into practice?
Some of my friends, yeah.
Yeah. Do you find that there are people who are, they're grateful, when you're talking to them and, you're reaching out and you're saying, hey, can I pray for you? That they're kind of relieved, that they kind of would like to hear from more people your age about, being supported and things like that.
I don't know.
That's kind of deep thought for 7:30 on a Monday morning. So
on a holiday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Oh my goodness. I'm asking you to put your brain in gear, and it's Labor Day and you don't have school today. So when you get home, there should be a 5-paragraph essay. It's going to start what Hayden learned from New Hope Youth Pastor and that project that they did and the 40-day challenge.
Yep. And we'll just have you send it to Shop Local for Good News, the contact us page, and we'll talk about it next week.
Actually, that opens up. We need to let our listeners know that we welcome calls and, feedback from you guys who are listening. If you have stories to tell, if you have things that have happened in your community where you've seen people do good and you want to inspire others with that story.
Yes. Can you read those phone numbers?
Oh, mercy.
Okay. The local number is 441-3000. Ed would love to take your call and transfer it over on Labor Day. My man. And then
toll free is 866-826-1340.
All right. Ed gets the Rock Star Producer Award of the Year for being with us on Labor Day. He has got such a phenomenal attitude about it too. I'm so happy. Okay, so are you going to do? Are there some upgrades to the youth center? Because here's what happened last year is the project was the children's playground, and we were talking about the drone. Person, and I went and I saw a picture of it. I unfortunately hadn't seen it, but that's just such a tangible reminder of what happened last year. So I'm so excited that the playground got built.
Yeah, it's right out there front and center too, so everybody can see it. Yeah, it's just a beautiful playground, and that was just great. So we thank you for that.
Sure.
Yeah, we're blessed at New Hope to have, like you're saying, just a beautiful property, and to have our own building on the property for the young people. Our youth group's called Forge, and we call it the Forge building, and it just needs some work. The inside, we need like the whole ceiling inside. It's the old popcorn ceilings, and there's stuff falling, and I mean, it's crazy.
It snows on you when you go in?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's all up to code, don't get me wrong, but it needs improvement. So we're going to do that. There's a couple of old wall air conditioning units that are going to be ripped out. We've got central air in there now. We're going to be redoing the floors. The stage area is going to be redone. We have a counter in there right now that we use we call it Rack Shack and Benny's. It's a little cafe that they can.
A little VeggieTales reference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
I love that show. That was such a great show.
That was one of the hints when he was trying to get us to guess what the name was.
they didn't connect.
None of us could get it.
Oh, that's so funny. My son watched VeggieTales.
Yeah.
My son's like 30. So,
and
but it's a great show.
Forge is being in the fire. It just kind of tied in. But so we're gonna do a new counter area back there for that, and then also we don't have a bathroom in the building. We have to go to the offices or over to the main building,
which is bad when it's raining.
Yeah.
Also, where are the girls doing their hair? I mean, you're talking about youth. The girls need a place to do their hair. What do you? I mean, that's just mean. But no, that's clearly a need. That's
the big need is getting the bathroom in the building. So so we're going to do all that, and then hopefully also use some of the funds this winter. We want to take the young people on a retreat to a youth conference up in Arkansas to try to help bring some of the costs down for that. So
awesome. So big goals.
Yeah.
So the voting for People's Choice Award for New Hope Church, your votes will go towards all of those very worthy projects. Yeah. So you just talked about upcoming plans for the youth.
But I can see the value that this also provides the community. I was a single mom for 15 years, and I have a son who, if it weren't for his youth pastor being like his big brother, his uncle, he would have missed out on a lot of guidance, right? And so all the families in the community that know that there's a safe place that their teens are coming to, and they're getting, nurtured, they're getting encouraged, they're being inspired, and you're having to raise up the next generation of leaders, Hayden. So, I mean, it's, this is it's not a small endeavor here. This is a huge calling. Yeah. And to equip you guys and to make sure that the building is something that the kids can enjoy and not have to worry about popcorn falling on their ceiling from the ceiling and things. I could see that being a vital community effort as well, not just for the church itself, but for the whole community benefiting. These are families from the community.
Well, it's a good sized building.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's a good sized building. We could probably fit, 75 to 100 in there, packed in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we've always, my wife and I have been involved in youth ministry for about 25 years now, and we've always seen ourselves. We don't want to be their friend. We want to be their father in that sense of. There's a lot of ministries out there. They're great ministries, but they just want to entertain or just want to do what they can to bring kids in. And we really want to help father these kids and be spiritual moms and dads to them, because like you're saying, there are so many that don't have
well, I was challenged. I had to work. Yeah. There were times when my kids needed me, but the reality was the reality. Yeah. And so there are a lot of parents facing that too, the challenge of juggling everything and then being there when their kids need them. Sometimes it can't all be done, but if we have a supportive youth pastor in our community,
Well, and what they're dealing with in today's society, I mean, they're just being beat up all over the place from everywhere with negative.
Yeah.
Yes.
From all directions. We are too.
Yeah.
So if we can enhance a refuge for the young people, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
That's great. And I appreciate you and your wife stepping up in the youth ministry, because your reward will be a lot greater than if you were a stockbroker.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Definitely.
No offense to our stockbroker friends, but it is a ministry.
Yeah, it is.
So
And it's funny, even we've only been doing the youth pastor position here at New Hope for about 5 months now. Been on staff as their missions pastor for a couple of years, but the previous youth pastor, a good friend of ours, Drew, left to go to North Carolina to do full-time youth ministry up there. And my wife was just helping out with music, and I was kind of running the sound. But again, I've been off and on involved in youth ministry for 25 years. And so when the vacancy came open, we just kind of stepped back in, not knowing we'd be youth pastors again after so long. But yeah, it's just, there's a need, and probably at least 60% of our kids come from single parent homes and all. So there's a great need for that. So
wow,
there are a lot of appreciative parents out there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we are going to go into a little bit more of our good news upcoming events, Miss Lisa.
Yes, good news you can use. We have the nonprofit collaborative at the MarketSpace. Ooh, we need to tell them about the MarketSpace.
We do need to tell them about the MarketSpace, especially since there's an open house today. It starts at 11 a.m. and we've got an open call for my open house. I'm getting hand signals from our next guest. My open house starts at 11 a.m., Jay, but the Urban Regeneration Station will be manned at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So
the MarketSpace is a storefront that's an entrepreneur incubator.
Yes,
that has vendors and artisans and artists and anybody in the community who would like to sell their wares and provide a great blessing to the community. Handmade things,
right,
all natural things.
We have 12 families involved right now, and there are some openings. So at 11 a.m. today, it's 6785 46th Avenue North, Unit D, which is the MarketSpace for Good.
Yes.
This was launched in July, so we are fairly new. However, we are growing. We have an open call for entrepreneurs, artists, artisans, and authors.
Yes.
To come out, because we do have a local author showcase as well. You can come tour the space. You can talk to our team. What an entrepreneur incubator is, for those who might not understand, is we're basically, our hashtag is more than a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag more than a shelf. So if you look that up in social media, you'll see our posts. And basically we work directly with these entrepreneurs, and we have a wide variety. However, we do have an exclusivity policy. So for example, we have a soap maker. She does all natural soaps. So we will not have another soap maker there until Yocosta doesn't need us anymore.
Right.
That's Aramel Apothecary, by the way.
So she's one of the companies we're incubating.
Yes.
And so she has exclusivity, but it like her, there are several other families there, as you mentioned, but they're part of, our entrepreneur. So
right.
we support these entrepreneurs, and one of the events that we do to do that is coming up, Entrepreneur Collaborative. That's September 11th and 25th at 7 p.m. The Entrepreneur Collaborative is just basically a think tank roundtable opportunity for these businesses and other businesses in the community to bring their problems, their issues, their discussion, and get some feedback. Right.
That, and for the first half of it, I will be putting on a seminar based on, I don't know, a couple decades of building grassroots.
Are you going to help with social media?
I'm going to help with social media.
Oh my goodness, there's so many people that need help with social media.
Yes.
I have a friend who helps me with social media.
I wonder who that.
I wonder who that is. But we also help nonprofits in the same style. So there's a nonprofit collaborative at the MarketSpace, September 5th and 19th at 7 p.m.
Right. I wanted to divide those two.
Mm-hmm.
We can bring them together with a networking event that we'll be hosting quarterly. So, because it's all about bringing the community together. But when we're teaching, when we're in brainstorming mode, I wanted to divide those two audiences.
Right, because their needs are, distinctive, but from each other. But at the same time, both of those entities and kinds of businesses need help.
Yes.
So the nonprofit gets help, and the entrepreneur gets help
Yes.
at the collaborative. So, and that's always at the MarketSpace. And then we also have an event coming up September 17th. This is the $20 turnaround. For $20, you can turn your family's finances around. $20 a month. Saving it, investing it, whatever you want to do with it. But you'll find out how September 17th at 7 p.m. at the MarketSpace. We'll have a certified financial advisor available, and she has just recently authored a book that's going to be released in the next couple weeks, and we are excited to have her, and we'll be announcing her next week officially.
Correct. Now, we should have mentioned that you don't have to take notes with the show. All that we're talking about is found at shoplocalforgoodnews.com. That's shoplocalforgoodnews.com. If you're on Facebook, it's Shop Local for Good.
Mm-hmm.
In our events calendar.
Yes, a handy little calendar so you can see these in black and white and, well, color too. But and then the next event coming up that we want to talk about is the Reading Comprehension Contest, and that's sponsored by Dark Horse Publishing of Florida. You can go to their Facebook page.
Dark Horse Florida Publishing.
Sorry, Dark Horse Florida Publishing. I typed these notes and I typed that wrong. So, yes, Dark Horse Florida Publishing. They have a Facebook page and they're very active on there. And that's where you can find out more about the contest that's now through September 28th. And they also have a scary story writing contest for Tampa Bay high schoolers.
Hayden, you might be interested in that.
If you write, or if you have friends who write, there's a Tampa Bay area-wide high school writing contest.
So you could write a scary story and it could potentially be published in a book.
Yes.
And why that's important is when you go to, if you want to apply for college, or if you maybe might want to be a writer in the future, if your story is published, then you can honestly claim that you're a published author.
Yes. Start building your resume now, young man. It's not too early.
He didn't realize he was coming in here for a lecture time.
A lecture, an assignment. He gets to write a 5-paragraph essay when he gets
home. He'll never come back. We've scared him away. But the Reading Comprehension Contest, I'm really excited about Dark Horse Florida Publishing launching that, because basically there's 2 books that are available at the MarketSpace for Good, and you have your choice. One's a romance novel, one's how did he describe that? It's not a romance novel. Tom is going to kill me. But there's 2 different choices of books. And then there's 12 questions for each book. And for every question that you answer right, you get a ticket, an entry. And there is a $50 first prize.
Oh, nice.
And then a runner-up prize is a $25 shopping spree at the MarketSpace for Good. And while $25 doesn't sound like a lot of money, it is a lot of money when you're buying locally from family-owned businesses. You can get a lot.
Well, there's so many things to choose from at the MarketSpace. I mean, got food goodies, salsa and
fruit butters
and all kinds
hot
of
sauce and pepper jellies.
Or you can choose scrubs or soaps or jewelry or just a crazy
Rescue Me Bakery dog treats.
Oh my gosh, if you have a puppy, you can feed them yummy dog treats that are all natural.
Rescue Me Bakery, which I love Kathy because she also serves on the board of directors for Passion for Pits, which is a local pit bull rescue. And so a portion of her proceeds of her highly recommended by Rosie, who is my dog, treats goes to the nonprofit. So
yes,
part of the For Good and MarketSpace for Good.
Well, and we have another vendor who also does good, Newman Nursery.
Yeah, Newman Nursery. Yes.
He is, basically he's a nursery incubator, if you will. I mean, that's his vision is to heal the soil. He says the reason why we're sick is because our soil is sick. And I think he makes a compelling point when he says that. I think
he rescues beehives too and teaches
Does
people
really?
how to keep them. I love the bees.
Yes.
The bees are very hardworking and good people. Good people. Good
people.
creatures. Yes, I have been up since 5:30 this morning. And we want to once again remind everybody that you can get early bird tickets at the mac and cheese. Now, if you want to show up and you don't have kidlets, young people, admission is free for the music and to eat to your heart's content. You will be purchasing food from our food vendors and lots of local shopping. You can shop early for Christmas.
Absolutely. So it's fun for kids and adults. Of course, if you know children, they would definitely appreciate joining you in a pony ride and the petting zoo and all that fun.
Grab some neighborhood kids with their parents' permission.
Grab your grandkids.
Yeah, grab your grandkids.
Get them out.
We do have on-site parking this year. I moved the map around a little.
Oh, good.
And I'm working on we do have some openings for sponsors. So I am working on enticing a local shuttle service. So if you know of a shuttle service, or because there is parking, that we could maybe get a couple of vans from a local shuttle service so that we can fit even more people on the property.
That'd be great. Yeah.
So there is availability for sponsorships.
Yes. If you are interested in sponsorship, you can just reach out to us on the website.
Yes, shoplocalforgoodnews.com. Yeah. Or send me an email, Karena at shoplocalforgood.com. That's Karena at shoplocalforgood.com.
Yeah. And sponsorships with Shop Local always comes with more, just like more than just a shelf at the MarketSpace. It's more than just having your name announced at the event.
Oh, definitely.
It's promotion on the radio here. It's promotion throughout the community. And of course, with a social media maven, most of us don't know how to effectively use social media, and she's mastered it for years. So if you're interested in sponsorships, that's what you want to do. And so that's Mac and Cheese. But next week, we have another nonprofit coming in, visiting us, who will also benefit from the proceeds of Mac and Cheese. Kids Campaign is going to be visiting with us next week.
Yes, Christine and Melanie are coming out. We're going to wake up Tampa Bay early every Monday morning. Yeah. And they're coming all the way down from Pasco County.
Yeah. Wow. But in the next hour, we're going to hear from Jungle Jay Hardman. He's coming in, Jungle Jay Hardman, and we're going to find out why his name is Jungle Jay. So you need to stay tuned for the next hour for that. But meantime, you can go to shoplocalforgoodnews.com to vote on the People's Choice Awards and donate to the Benevolution Grant Fund, which we talked about goes to benefit the local nonprofits that are doing good in your community. And get your early bird activity armbands and register for events like pony rides.
And we also are going to talk about our new publication. We're producing another Passports for Good.
Yes.
Which is we're developing. I developed it as a way for small business owners to be able to sponsor large festivals and be able to touch base with the very excited attendees. So the Passports for Good program for Mac and Cheese, we're going to have 150 books. And the first 100 families will get that beautiful leather personal organizer packed full of savings at local shopping and eating and playing locally. And we are currently looking for small businesses that are interested in that. And then the remaining 50 will be used for door prizes.
Yeah. So if you have a small business or a local nonprofit and you want to share your stories with us about how you're getting out in the community and what's working for you, what you're trying to do, please give us a call here. We are taking calls at 727-441, what is that, 3,000?
Yeah. 3,000, yes.
727-441, 3,000 or 888-826-1340.
That's 866.
866. Lisa needs her glasses. Yeah. So we are coming back soon. We want you to stay with us for our next hour with Jungle Jay Hardman of the Urban Regeneration Station. And thank you,
thanks for having
Barry
us.
and Hayden, for getting up early and driving all the way down here. We appreciate you, and we will see you, if not before, we'll see you on November 3rd at New Hope Church for the annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival.
Gonna be good.
Good job.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay, WZHR, Zephyr Hills,
FM 104.3.
Listen.
ISIS leader killed, concert shooting. I'm Michael Toscano. The U.S. is confirming the death of a self-proclaimed leader of ISIS in Afghanistan. Abu Saad Arakzai was killed in an airstrike a little over a week ago. Army General Scott Miller, commander of U.S. and NATO forces in Afghanistan, has issued a statement saying this is part of maintaining pressure on terrorists trying to plot attacks from Afghanistan. This as Dutch police continue to question a 19-year-old Afghan man suspected of stabbing 2 American tourists at Amsterdam's main railway station, an attack the city says was based on a terrorist motive.
They're in serious, though not critical condition. The U.S. Embassy saying they're in close contact with the victims and their families. We are expecting an update from authorities later today.
Correspondent Aaron McLaughlin. Police are trying to figure out who did it and why after a shooting outside a San Bernardino, California apartment complex last night left 10 people injured with 3 in dire condition. A man shot by police outside of a concert near San Diego last night is in the hospital this morning, shot after he opened fire, apparently upset there were no more tickets available to see rapper Ice Cube.
Police say deputies responded to an argument near the front gates. The man pulled out a handgun and fired several shots into a crowded area. Cell phone video appears to show officers returning fire.
Gunshots just ringing off. Bang, 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 over and over and over again. And then I saw a guy on the ground and the cops shot him.
No one else was injured in the incident. The concert began about 2 hours later. I'm Joe Ramsey.
A tropical cyclone moving through the Atlantic is expected to turn into a tropical storm later today, dropping lots of rain on parts of the Gulf Coast, especially Louisiana and Florida. Here's meteorologist Chad Myers.
It will leave South Florida for today. You could even get a water spout on land South Florida for today. We'll watch that. And then into the Gulf of Mexico, into very warm water, and then producing 6 to 7 inches of rainfall.
I'm Michael Toscano.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining, bad odors, and lead with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to goodclearwater.com. That's goodclearwater.com.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Sunday, the Rays were looking for a series win against the Cleveland Indians, and the rookies certainly stepped up.
Brandon Lau lifts the first pitch of the air into left field. Heading back, Brantley looking up. He's at the wall. It's gone just over the fence for an opposite field home run. Brandon Lau hits his third big league homer, second in as many nights.
Brandon Lau homering for the second straight at bat in the series. He ended up with 3 extra base hits and 3 ribbies, and Joey Wendell was pretty special too with the glove.
Swinging a ground ball along third, diving once again, Wendell from foul ground. Can he do it again? The throw, he got him, and the side retired. And Joey Wendell has robbed Lindor twice today on similar plays.
Wendell also had a couple of hits. The Rays go on to beat the Indians 6-4, are 10 over 500 for the first time since 2015. They visit the Jays on Monday. Airtime on the Rays Baseball Network at 6:30. With the Rays Report, I'm Neil Solondz.
Catch the Rays all season on the Rays Radio Network. For tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com.
Hi, this is John Austin, host of the Book Club on the Tan Talk Radio Network. I spent 35 years in publishing, and today I want to tell you about a book that could change your life. The book is No Cash, No Problem. The author is Dave Wagenford. Dave Wagenford is one of the greatest barter experts in the world. He's bartered over $500 million in goods and services. If you want to remodel your home, but the cost is just too high, or maybe there's an automobile that you have dreamed of owning, but thought you just couldn't afford. Well, this book will allow you to do both of those things, plus hundreds more with little or no cash. Maybe you're a business owner with a cash flow problem that leads to low or non-existing profits. Read this book and see how you can increase your cash flow and your profits by time-proven techniques. The book again is No Cash, No Problem, and you can buy it now online at www.tantalknetwork.com. Click on the book and follow the instructions, or pick up the phone and call Lola at 727-441-3311. The book costs only $6.99, so do yourself a favor and buy the book today.
Hi, this is Tim Del Toro. And I'm Lou Angel Wolf, and we are the Grease Gurus. Our show is broadcast every Saturday morning live at WTAN Tan Talk Radio 1340.
That's 10 o'clock every Saturday morning for an automotive forum that is flavored with humor and insight.
We encourage you to call in and be part of the Grease Gurus show.
We'd love to have you, and we will certainly help you find your inner grease.
This show is sponsored by Tim's Performance Service Center in beautiful Tarpon Springs at 906 Verona Place, and you can reach us personally at 727-543-1601.
Aha.
This is Mark Skogman, host of Spectrum 360 on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Spectrum 360 is a political talk radio program that features politics, the arts, and popular culture from a progressive point of view. Spectrum 360 broadcasts for 1 hour weekly on Monday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern Time and anytime via podcast at tantalk1340.com. Remember, Spectrum 360, politics from a progressive point of view.
We take care of our own, wherever this flag's flown.
Hey there, I'm Lynn About Town. Are you looking for something different for your talk radio? Then tune in to our show, Talk of the Town, every Tuesday night from 5 to 5:30. Stay up to date with what's happening in your Tampa Bay. Hear from my special guests, get the cool event news, or call in to become part of the conversation. Whatever your poison, I promise you, this one won't kill you, but it'll definitely make you feel good. Talk of the Town, where good guys and good news meet. See you Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Are you a writer, inventor? Do you have questions about your intellectual property rights? Well, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 11 o'clock for Joy on Paper. Once a month, I will have a special guest, the writer's legal eagle, Bill Larson of Larson & Larson, who can answer your questions. Protect your valuable work. Email me your questions to patsy.radio@gmail.com and then listen in every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. right here on Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network. That's patsy.radio@gmail.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
All right, we're back with Monday Motivation in our second hour. And this hour, we have our special guest and friend, Jungle Jay Hardman from the Urban Regeneration Station. Welcome this morning.
Delighted to be here.
And thank you for being here for the entire show, because I neglected to tell you were here for the second hour. So we
well, you might have had a no-show, and then I could have filled in for you.
Yeah. That was a great interview with Barry. So, but we are definitely looking forward, because we've got a big event at the Urban Regeneration Station coming up today.
Indeed, and it's our first big event, and it's really the introductory event. And of course, we're not ready for prime time, as you well know, Karena, but we're building social capital and investment from the community in what they want to see at our urban acre in Northwest St. Petersburg.
Right. Let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit about how it launched, what your thought process was, and how I got invited into it.
Well, it's a deep story, and I don't know where you want me to start with it.
Okay, let's talk about how we first met. How's that?
All right.
So I was helping out with a local community center, trying to get them reopened and moving in a rather poor neighborhood. And I was traveling around the city speaking to groups, local groups, and Jay happened to be at one of the meetings. And when I was talking about it, I think about at least 10 or 15 people turned around and looked at you and said, "You should be there."
Yes, you had mentioned in the group that you had a volunteer from something called Beacon Food Forest Garden.
Right.
And immediately the crowd turned around to me because I am the founder of Beacon Food Forest Garden. And so as soon as I heard, your vision and, that you were trying to help the MLK Junior Center over in Greenwood, and you had a volunteer in it that was trying to start a community garden, I thought, well, this is exactly my mission here. And so I handed off my responsibilities at Beacon to one of my wonderful volunteers there and came over and got fully involved with you and with the people over and got a garden started over there for them.
Yes, because I don't think enough people understand the true meaning of a food desert. And there are several of them in Tampa Bay, and two of them that I know of personally, and possibly in Tarpon Springs too. Two of them are the North Greenwood community and Lealman.
And Lealman, correct. And that's where we are.
Right. So we moved from North Greenwood to Lealman.
And name it, and that area, where we are now, the MarketSpace and the Urban Regeneration Station is the place where I grew up.
Right.
And so for me, it's a homecoming after a long and storied career that brought me the name Jungle Jay, as we alluded to earlier, and we can go into that later. But yes, it's wonderful for me at the end of a long archaeology career to come back to my community and help re-empower it after doing sort of proofs of concept elsewhere.
Right.
And so now I think I've honed this thing down in the past 8 years since I retired from archaeology, and I think I've refined it to a program that will really help to lift up the entire neighborhood there and be an example to other communities elsewhere. So,
and that's what attracts me to it as well, because I'm all about providing examples. And I'm a doer, and I do. Don't get me wrong, I love to talk, and I like to guide people, but I think guiding by actions is just so much more empowering.
Leading from in front.
Yes.
Right?
And then what you ended up doing with Clearwater MLK Junior Neighborhood Center is providing the example. And then Anthony Burney ended up taking over the community garden. And then now the community is running the community garden, which frees you up to go into the West Lealman community.
Wonderful.
And take all the lessons learned from North Greenwood and just make it an even more powerful program.
Exactly. So, this opportunity presented itself, and sort of like the opportunity presented to you for the MarketSpace, and it was just so obvious that this was such an enormous opportunity for outreach to the community, but even for a larger outreach to people that will be watching what we're doing, because it's a grassroots thing that we're doing. East Lealman, which has been sort of cut off from, the Lealman community was gutted in the 60s when Sidney Colin built Kenneth City, and people may be familiar with Kenneth City on the north side of St. Petersburg because they have to drive slow.
Yes.
But at any rate, when that happened, it sort of cut West Lealman off from the other community. And there is a community redevelopment association area going on in East Lealman, but West Lealman ended up the stepchild because of geography.
Oh.
So we are not in the RCA, but with the county. They built a beautiful multi-million-dollar facility for them over there. And the community, which is not very cohesive, in my opinion, and I've gotten involved with them, is that the people now are screaming for programs in this multi-million-dollar facility, but it's the community that's supposed to build the programs.
Right.
They've created a wonderful space for them. What we are doing is turning that on its head. We are going to build with the community first.
Right.
And once the community is established and cohesive, then it will be easy for us to go to commissioners and the county and say, hey, does this look like something you can support?
Well, what I've found over the years, because we've known each other for quite a few years, if you don't have a cohesive community unit, it just puts so many barriers up for progress. And some of those barriers can cause hurt feelings, and then you're just constantly recycling people because nobody wants to volunteer in that kind of environment.
It becomes self-defeating and not and unattractive.
Yes.
So what we're doing is we're creating something attractive that will supplant what is business as usual, what everybody's used to. You know, it's one of those, we always do what we always do because we always did what we always did.
Right.
This is something new, something fresh, and something that I firmly believe will attract the community because it's empowering them economically, socially, spiritually, and giving them a focus for their community and a space to congregate,
right,
to come together. So that's the vision that I had for this particular space.
So for our listeners who have not been to the Urban Regeneration Station yet, what will they see when they get there and what should they expect to find?
What they will see when they get there, and if they come today between 10 and whenever, what they will see there today is a work in progress. And I'm again, it's a community-based ideal that I have here. So what I've done is I've created this event. We've already got wonderful first followers in you guys who have come into our business incubator. We have 4 spaces that are business storefronts. You are the first ones in one. In the next month, we expect to have your next door neighbor move in to start the all organic green hair salon.
Fantastic.
Yay.
And we are a green and socially conscious incubator. This isn't just for anybody to come in and get a cheap space. This is for people who are trying to do something that's different from business as usual, that's empowering to the community, and we are helping to facilitate that at the time when it is hardest, and that's at the very beginning. So that's the impetus behind the business incubator.
Well, and anyone that has never opened a retail space, anyone that has never opened a space, for example, I'm sure that your organic salon people are going through, there's a lot of hoops that they have to jump through for regulations and things like that. For us, we ended up building in the retail space so that we would have shelving and that kind of thing, and a counter. I'm just going to give a shout out to my husband who was voluntold to do it. And
the long-suffering John.
Love
you, John.
He built all the shelves.
And he did a great job.
He built the counter, and so that we could save money, because the MarketSpace for Good is owned and operated and managed by Shop Local for Good, which is a family-owned business. Mm-hmm. And then what we do as an entrepreneur incubator, as a business incubator, is that we bring in other family-owned businesses and offer them a retail environment that's managed by the Shop Local for Good team. We're all volunteers currently. Mm-hmm. And we do have space available for more, and we help build their businesses. For example, Lisa has been working with Numa Nursery, Kendrick. Mm-hmm. He had a phenomenal business plan, and her talent, what she brings in, is a lot of what I'm going to have you explain, what you're doing with Kendrick.
Well, my husband and I have a background in business development and marketing development for small and growing businesses. So if you have a very small budget, if you just don't have a lot of money to push into your drawing customers, but you need those customers to keep your small business afloat, we have some tools and methods that you can employ. And so we're helping Kendrick work on some of those and put in some simple marketing processes that will get him to the level he wants to get to. And again, these are businesses that have a more altruistic mission, right? Kendrick is committed to creating the kind of nursery and the kind of farming environment, because he's also an architect and he wants to build the farms of the future. He's an amazing young business person, but he's committed to doing something fantastic for the community. He's committed to healing the soil, because as he says, we are sick because the soil is sick. And I've heard that before, and I can't find a more poignant truism that we're finding, in the research that I've done for some of the books that we're writing, because, part of what we do as in our venue is also being professional writers and getting some marketing pieces out for people in the community who are growing their practice or their business. And we're hearing this from all over. The research is in, the facts are known. We have some healing to do, whether it's the soil, whether it's our communities, and Kendrick his mission is to heal.
Well, in MarketSpace for Good at 6785 46th Avenue North at the Urban Regeneration Station is also the only retail space in Pinellas County where you can get Newman Nursery products.
Yes, that's correct. Well, actually, it's not. He has a retail space over on 38th Avenue.
You need to move closer.
He has a retail space over on 38th Avenue, but he recognizes the value of what you are doing, and so.
Oh, and so he is selling out of 38th Avenue? I didn't think he was.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to lie to my neighbors.
But to Lisa's point, and the soil and so forth, the metaphors are everywhere. It's community. The soil is a community. Soil is made up of millions, maybe billions of community members. And when we poison it, we poison our food. And so that's what Kendrick's talking about. And that's what we are going to demonstrate at the Urban Regeneration Station for the community.
Okay. So what are some of the things that are going to be available?
Well, it's a vision at this point. And the reason that we are crowdsourcing and inviting people in before we are ready for prime time is that the mission is to engage the community. The idea of if you build it, they will come. We've seen that didn't work over in Lealman, in East Lealman. If they come, they will build it, and then they will be totally invested in it because it's theirs.
Yes.
And that is the overriding idea that I'm bringing to this. I'm a social scientist. I'm an archaeologist, but I'm an anthropologist. Before that, I was an evolutionary biologist. And before that, I got a degree in secondary science education. So I really believe that I am in a place that gives me a responsibility. I was a teacher. I was a systems theorist and an evolutionary biologist, which gives me the deep time perspective. And then I became a social scientist and applied that to culture. And so this gives me, I think, a unique perspective on all of this. And then in my archaeology career, I worked with young people. So there was an intergenerational aspect to that continued through my entire working career, where I had young people coming fresh out of school, out of college. And the reciprocity in that was that they were bringing the latest information from academia into the field where I had been working for 30 years. And I was letting them know how it was to navigate the labyrinth of cultural resource management and how it was business, and that their idealism about preservation, they might notice that it's a little compromised by the money ethic. So there was a community exchange there that was intergenerational and multicultural,
right?
And not gender specific. And as a matter of fact, in the archaeology community, we have an inordinate number of people that have alternative lifestyles and so forth. And so, what we are trying to do at the Regeneration Station, and you're a good example of it, is we want to be intergenerational, multicultural, interfaith, gender neutral. all of those things.
Well, you're representing the fabric that gets woven together to make a stronger community.
Exactly.
It's economic threads in this fabric. There are social threads in this fabric. There are familial threads in this family fabric, and there are health threads. We were talking about that earlier off air. You know that a lot of the issue that we have in this culture is we are having trouble keeping ourselves healthy. Well, it's because we are so distanced from eating what is natural.
Right.
And but you're providing an answer for that too, because our listeners may not know about the Urban Regeneration Station, but there's a huge property out back that's you're developing to become a garden for the community.
Right. And I have my vision. And again, I have this background, and I'm going to present this to people but I want their input first, because I want to know what they want, not put my ideals into them first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we saw how that didn't work in other situations.
Correct.
It has to be their idea.
Exactly.
Because if you come in as an outsider, you're not an outsider. Technically, I might be. But if you come in as an outsider, it takes a while to ingratiate yourself into the community for the neighbors to trust you. And for example, with the MarketSpace for Good, we are a retail space. So there are currently 12 families that have their products available there that, that while some may consider exchange of money less than pleasant, I'm here to encourage people to empower their dollar with your neighbor who owns a business, who is selling their dog treats or their moringa products to grow something bigger, because then you're investing in their business instead of investing in the corporatism that the corporations offer. So it's a friendly form of capitalism, instead of the crony version where the corporations run everything. And you're empowering your community by empowering your dollar, by spending your resources and investing your resources in the family.
And that's why we're always locally focused here at Shop Local for Good, because it's when you're locally focused that you can have that voice and have that influence and be empowered and share and collaborate in this way.
Right.
When the power is removed and put in somebody else's hand who is not connected to you, not local to you, now all of a sudden you have a breeding ground, an opportunity
for less health and less empowerment.
And it's new.
Mm-hmm.
It's better.
Yeah.
And it's attractive, but people need to learn about it. And that's what we're doing on WTAN. And
at Tan Talk.
Yeah.
Right. So,
so you've got some.
So my vision, and I'll share it. I don't want to share it with them. I want to get that, but you've asked me, and I'll share it with you. What we envision is to set up a teaching garden where the community can come in and learn to garden, take the produce that they are putting their effort into in growing home for their own consumption. But more importantly, the empowerment comes not because they're going to save a few bucks at Publix on the vegetables that they're growing at our space, but they will take the skills that we give them. We're teaching a man to fish.
Yes.
Actually, we're teaching him to garden, but they will take it home. They will grow in their own yards in the West Lealman community. And then we hope to facilitate, if it's not on our property, with a neighboring business, co-op grocery store, or a farmer's market, where they can then market their surplus. And there's always surplus.
Yes.
They can market their surplus back to that affluent Kansas City community that sort of divided them from the rest of Lealman. And
or back to their neighbors who can't grow.
Or they can share with their neighbors who are unable to garden, the older people, because we're building a cohesive community that is more like a village.
Yeah.
And what we're building is guild systems that harken back to, a simpler time when it was all cooperative all the time, and the butcher and the baker and everybody had a little different role in it,
Right.
but everybody cooperated, and it wasn't about money. It was about community first and sharing.
Well, and you have a story, and I'll give it a little bit of a story. The other day, a family came into the MarketSpace, and they thought it was a grocery store, and they were looking for fresh produce.
Yes.
And we have shelf-stable food, but we don't have fresh produce. And then you had mentioned a story about a family
Yes.
People,
It breaks my heart.
families have to walk 1 to 2 miles just to get to a grocery store.
And they put the toddler in the wagon, and the young kids are walking behind. And for every mile that mom is walking on her long legs, those kids are walking 3.
Yeah.
And so they they finally make it to the grocery. They load it up with the groceries, but there's no room for the potato chips and the paper towels and the bigger things. So the kids are struggling. The older kids are carrying these huge bags. They're not heavy, but they're cumbersome. And they're carrying them for miles. And then the toddler can't go in the wagon because the wagon's full of groceries. So he's being dragged behind. The younger kids are surging ahead across the street trying to get home because and the mom is yelling at them, dragging the wagon and dragging a toddler on 2 little legs. And it's heartbreaking. And I want to create the thing that is something where they can come and get their fresh, organic vegetables right here, and then co-op grocery stores down the road so that it's in the neighborhood.
Right.
There's no driving.
Right.
They can walk, and it's a day out as well, and it can be leisurely.
Yeah.
Well, and it's an advancement. We think it's funny. We think of all our commerce as advancement, but we'll talk in the next half hour about how really regeneration is advancement. It's progress.
Okay, and we'll be back with Jungle Jay Hardman after a short break.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
The Shop Local for Good News team has exciting news for Tampa Bay high schoolers. A local publishing company is conducting a short story writing contest exclusively for high school students. The theme is Scary Stories, and the contest ends just in time for Halloween. For the official rules and guidelines and to connect with the contest publishing company, send a message with the subject line Scary Stories using the Contact Us form at shoplocalforgoodnews.com. Contact us at shoplocalforgoodnews.com.
Macaroni and Cheese is coming back to Palm Harbor to the beautiful campus of New Hope Church, and we are looking for you to give you early bird armband specials with Noah's Ark Petting Zoo coming back with their pony rides and more. We want you to get the bonuses that we're offering. That's shoplocalforgood.com to find the early bird activity armband bonuses at the annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival. Get your early bird armband specials at shoplocalforgood.com.
For years, Gulfport has been a haven for artists, poets, and storytellers. And now something special is happening in Gulfport. Now, Sumitra Espresso Lounge is hosting weekly live readings by local poets and short story writers. Each reading is followed by an open mic segment. Sip on your favorite espresso while listening to local published authors or present your own work every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Sumitra Espresso Lounge is located at the corner of Beach Boulevard and 29th Avenue in downtown Gulfport.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
And we're back with Shop Local for Good News, Monday Motivation. We have our special guest with us for the second hour, Jungle Jay Hardman with the Urban Regeneration Station. And he has an open house today at 6785 46th Avenue North.
Yes, we're just west of 66th Street on 46 on the north side of the road.
Right. And the MarketSpace for Good has an open call for entrepreneurs, artists, artisans, and authors. We'll be there from 11 to 7 today. And he's going to rush right out of the studio and go over for his open house. His open house starts at 10 a.m. and he will be there until whenever.
I will be there until the last person is tired of being there.
There we go. You got I love it when you get a group of people together. The brainstorming that goes on is just fantastic.
I love my community.
It's very inspiring. So you had something that you wanted to go over with the plans about the youth empowerment.
Yes, we talked a little bit about the gardening effort that we want to empower the neighbors to grow their own food and market it back and empower them making themselves economically as well as with their health. But another avenue that we're exploring is, at the Regeneration Station, it's bigger than just food production. It's also about moving into the future with alternative energy, alternative fuels. And I have some background in that as well. And so we have, for example, we have a veggie-powered Mercedes-Benz that's under a little bit of stress right now and needs some love. We have a Kubota tractor that has, my dad's 85 and he's been struggling by himself there, and things have gotten away from him a little bit. So that's why I'm also there to help out with the family issue. But I see an opportunity there, and I've done outreach to Pinellas Technical College, St. Petersburg College, the University of South Florida, and the Patel College of Global Sustainability to send us mentors that will come to our space to mentor the kids in the community and create pipelines for these kids to those educational opportunities.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
I love that you're reaching the kids with this project, with this process. I remember being 20 years ago when in my neighborhood, the very first 24-hour superstore came to our neighborhood, the big box store. And I walked in and I thought that I was just in the pinnacle of the experience of the mom who could put her children in the shopping cart and wheel around under the fluorescent lights and look at the stuff. And I thought it was great. I was so enthralled. 20 years later, I really wish I would have taken that time, and instead of showing up at the big box store to spend an hour walking around with my kids under fluorescents, and actually taking them into, a garden that we had put out back to maybe grow some food, and spend that time with them in the soil, spend that time with them sharing and teaching. And, Karena and I are both longtime homeschool parents, and there's huge value, we know, and of course the research is in, there's huge value in spending that time with your kids, producing something, generating something of value and of worth, showing them how they can engage in the process of creating something of worth. So I was a consumer with my cart under the fluorescent lights. If I would have, as a parent, taken them into the garden, we would have been producers of life, and I would have been able to teach them all those science lessons that they needed to know at a young age, so that I'm not trying to introduce it for the first time when they're 14 and they're going, I don't understand.
Well, don't beat yourself up too bad. And if you're a mother at home and you're thinking about that also, that's the program. And that's what has been provided for us, and we are trained to become consumers, and that's how it happens. I'm an anthropologist. It's an acculturative process. We learn by watching. Parents tell you to do things, but you do what you see them do. And that's how we become acculturated. And so what we're doing is we're changing the culture by providing different avenues. And that this is a perfect example of, an opportunity that we're giving to the least of us, to the people that are the most economically stressed in our community in a zone like West Lealman. So this again is why it's a perfect place to do
well,
this.
And I can't be the only parent who's finding out that their 20-somethings are not eating right, have vitamin D deficiencies.
And they don't know how to do anything except peel the plastic off and stick it in the microwave. So we're also going to have cooking classes on how to prepare these fresh organic vegetables and empower the young people to take possession of their own health and their own economic,
Well, going back to the big box store story, and I know I can't be the only one that drives around their neighborhood or their town and notices more often than I'd like to see a small business shuttered. So, and that actually happened to thousands and thousands of families when those big box stores moved in, because the mom and pop stores were, because the corporation could buy cheaper, and the mom and pop stores who were investing all they had into getting products into their community were basically undercut on prices, and the convenience factor, of the big box stores compared to driving around to go to the butcher and the baker and the candlestick makers. So that's why when you called, and that the MarketSpace concept you knew had been in my 5-year plan, and you're like, I've got an opportunity for you. So that's generally what MarketSpace for Good is about is bringing the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the mom and pops into a one retail environment that also offers them the empowerment of building them to where they don't need us. And then we're not kicking them out, but if they go, like, for example, 2 of our family owned businesses, they're already in 2 other retail environments. And one of them has been invited to be on a daytime show on the news. And I'm not saying that we had anything to do with that, but it's just getting the word out about their small business, encouraging our neighbors to understand that all capitalism isn't evil, and that spending your dollars, your hard-earned dollars, wisely with a neighbor that has a small business, it is so much more empowering than you realize. So you're actually battling the corporatism that is taking over our society, and empowering your neighbor and their quest to provide premium products and services, and keep a roof over their family's head.
And there are a lot of battles that these young families and new and emerging businesses are battling that most people doesn't even hit their radar. Like
putting a sign up on the side of the road.
Like putting a sign up on the side of the road is apparently a big problem in some areas. And also, there's recently been a decision that if you are shipping your products somewhere, you can no longer charge the sales tax of your local place of where you're shipping from. You must charge the sales tax for where you're shipping to. So now a small business that has a website, that has a shopping mechanism on their website, they must be able to calculate the state, county, and city tax of the address of the recipient of the package.
Gee, I wonder who lobbied for that.
Gee, don't know. But
Big
that puts
businesses
people
have
out
the
of business.
algorithm to do that for them.
Exactly. Whoever can afford the e-commerce software gets to do the e-commerce now, is really what that boils down to. So, let's cut out the small business completely. Oh, hi, we found a convenient way to do that. So what we're doing is giving them tools to combat that and come back against that, and being able to, as small family local businesses, be stronger for uniting with compassion and in the community and with the relationships that are going to build them. And, money is a necessary thing, but we can be altruistic in how we manage our support and launch of these businesses.
Well, and connecting our neighbors with the small business owners who also reinvest in nonprofits that are helping our neighbors in need. Just everybody wins.
And money we live in a world of money. We have to have it. I have a mortgage. I have to pay it.
Right.
I mean, my ideal is gift economy, where we're just sharing.
Yeah.
Now that's idealistic, and it's wonderful. It sounds great, but it's not realistic. But we can start nibbling away at that with time banking, local money in the form of tokens and so forth that are staying in the community. And that's what's important about the localism, is the energy, the financial energy, even if it is greenbacks, stays in our community. It's not going to China via Walmart.
Right.
It's staying where we are. We have makers here making things and selling them in your shop. So that, I think, is
we have some amazing makers.
Is something to work toward.
And I love that your brother is all on board. He
donated 25 pomegranate trees. We're doing a big giveaway today.
Yeah.
Anybody who comes in can take one of each of pomegranates. What do we have now? We have pomegranates. We have papayas. Daikon. Somebody's sending 50 pounds of daikon radish to us.
Yummy. That's really good in salad, by the way.
We have lilikoi passion fruit starts that people can take these home, plant them in their yard, and within a short time they'll have passion fruit growing on their fence.
Nice.
And in a short while they can have papayas and persimmons and all of these other things that we are offering for free today. And all of it came to us through the gift economy, because there are people in the community that said, Jay, we like what you got. We like what you're doing, and we want to support it. So gifts come in, and that's to give away to the community, to attract them, to build this thing that we're building.
Now you have a Facebook page with a group attached to it, and I think you started that group like less than a week ago. There's
No,
already
it's
200.
It's a couple of days over 2 weeks old.
There's
and
already
it's-
200 people in over 200
It's
people.
blowing up. It's blowing up. And believe me, Karena, that is just the beginning.
The tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yes.
I can't wait to meet everybody today. Tell them to drop in and just say hi. Stick
Oh,
their
they
head
will
in
be-
the door. Hello.
Oh, they will be on the tour. Will be coming through your space.
Yes, you are very good about that.
Oh, and the first 2 people to come by the MarketSpace today will get 2 VIP passes to Florida's largest home show at the Florida State Fairgrounds, too.
Yes, we have those VIP passes. So if you're planning on going over to the Florida State Fairgrounds afterwards, drop into the MarketSpace. What should we have them do?
I don't know. Dance?
We'll buy
sing?
something.
Oh, they should buy something.
The first 2 people that buy something from me today get those VIP passes. I
And
don't,
you're
if they want
Yes.
them.
Yes. Prove your investment.
Yes,
Yeah.
if they want them. If they want them.
And you will find things there that you will treasure. You'll find homemade salsa. You'll find fruit butters.
They will want to buy
They
something
will.
when they go in there and see all the things that you
Homemade
have.
soap, handmade soap. It smells yummy.
Yeah.
You can smell the soap and you can smell the scrubs, but do not smell the essential oils.
Oh, Lisa, I love you. I have some essential oils there, and she sat there and opened them up to
I
smell
didn't
them, and
know
I'm
they
like,
were sealed. I didn't hear the
I'm like,
pop
guess
of the
what
seal.
you just bought?
I walked out
She
with
is
a
now
lot
set
of
for the
amazing
next year.
essential oils.
Yes.
And I'm glad to have them. The cinnamon bark is delicious and everything, but
The numbers jumped.
Yes, my sales that day were fantastic. So
but you can smell the soaps. You'll want to do that. It's just some wonderful stuff.
And you'll just want to look around and see all of the interesting items that are on the
Yes.
shelves.
Yes. And there is still space available if you're an artisan, an artist, an author,
an entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur.
And it's, it comes with a whole team. We've got a great team. And much like I've mentioned before, we've got a secret group on Facebook. My group is secret. We have a public group, but we also have a secret group.
And I'm open source and it's all out there.
Yeah.
The Urban Regeneration Station,
Yeah.
West Lealman.
Is it the? Is there a
The group page is the.
Okay.
The main page is just Urban Regeneration Station, West Lealman.
Okay, great.
That's fantastic.
Well, the reason why I have a secret group is that's how I communicate with my people.
Oh, I have a secret group too.
I know I'm in it. Ha. But because some things just have to be brainstormed
Right.
behind the scenes.
Well, and people don't want
Not
to hear
that
the
we
minutia.
don't love you. Yes.
They don't want to be involved in all of the machinations
Yeah,
behind the
yeah.
scene.
Well, because time is limited.
Exactly.
So
But you will also find that Shop Local for Good does a rather good job of promoting on social media. And so if you are in the market space or you're involved with us as a sponsor, you get a lot of bang for that buck.
Oh, yes.
You get.
it's a membership program.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a shelf and then you get me.
Speaking of which, we have a couple events coming up that we definitely want to give a shout out to some of these things that are going on. We talked about earlier in our first segment, the first hour, Mac and Cheese is coming up November 3rd, noon to 4 p.m.
Noon to 5.
Noon to 5. Sorry. That's my typing.
That's
my
okay.
notes. Sorry. Noon to 5, November 3rd. So if you are on keto, carb cycle that day, and you're going to be able to vote for the cheesiest mac and cheese, you're going to be able to vote for sweetest treats. I'm sorry. We have judges that are voting on the mac and cheese.
You want me to take over?
The people do what?
You want me to take over on this one?
Yeah, I think you might need to.
Because I know it's been really early for you.
It has been an early day.
So annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival. It's actually a page at Mac and Cheesy Fun on Facebook. We have early bird activity, armbands for sale right now. There are bonuses. There are a limited amount of free face painting coupons and free balloon and art. And we have the first 100 families will get a passport for good, which will have hundreds in savings. We do have openings in that publication for small businesses that would be interested. ShopLocalForGoodNews.com if you'd like to send us a message on that.
And for the next six weeks on this show, we're going to be hearing from guests who represent the nonprofits that will be blessed by the fundraising efforts. At
Yes,
Mac and Cheese.
including we had New Hope Church today. They will be, the proceeds of the event will be going towards their youth activity center. Next week we have Kids Campaign. They do pediatric cancer families. They help them with some expenses. We have Pet Pal Animal Shelter, Mothers of Minors, Bulls for Good. They work with Feeding Tampa Bay on helping hungry neighbors. They've actually done a food giveaway in Lealman. And
I met them at the recent meeting.
Yeah, Ben's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's coming out today.
Oh, good.
To meet with me. He wants some social media help. I just called him out on the radio. The Benevolution Foundation, we're also going to be working on ways to help support the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office Explorer Post 900 because they are going to be volunteering again this year. Those kids are amazing. And then PB and Jelly Deli is actually a foodie favorite, People's Choice competitor, and a nonprofit.
Yes. And the event, Macaroni and Cheese, will feature Folk University with music. Amazing.
Yes.
And a deluxe petting zoo with pony rides. I love that. I just think it's great fun for families. There's so few things that we can do outdoors with our families that build community and help people at the same time. And we're helping 6 worthy nonprofits.
Well, we want to definitely thank the Fran Hosh Law Group and Ignite Chiropractic for stepping up so that we could keep the ticket prices low for the families.
It's how we can provide, things like bounce houses for kids and toddler zone and things like that. So this is fantastic.
And still raise money for nonprofits. So.
Yes. And we're going to have the People's Choice Awards for food.
That's now. That's going on
That's now. So
online voting.
Where do they go to vote for that?
Go to shoplocalforgood.com and you'll see all the categories and ways to vote. And it's a $2 per vote. It's a $2 donation to the Benevolution Foundation grant for the nonprofit that you are voting for. And if you're voting for Foodie Favorite, People's Choice Foodie Favorite, Sweetest Treat, or Favorite Local Shopping, each of those competitors have selected a nonprofit that their proceeds will go to.
Very good. So shoplocalforgoodnews.com is the place to get all this information and information on events coming up. We've got the Nonprofit Collaborative, which is going to be at the MarketSpace. That's September 5th and 19th at 7 p.m. And MarketSpace, as you've been hearing from Jungle Jay Hardman, is actually part of the Urban Regeneration Station and special open house today. The open house at the Regeneration Station starts at 10, come out at 11, and you can actually come visit the marketplace for the MarketSpace for the special open house that we're doing. And so that's exciting. And other things that are going on at the MarketSpace are Entrepreneur Collaborative. So that's September 11th, 25th at 7 p.m. And one of the events that's coming up is also is the $20 turnaround.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah. So for $20, your family can turn around their finances. Hear from a certified financial advisor who has some, has some great advice and things.
Will her book be out by then?
No, but it'll be very close to being released.
Great.
And so you would definitely want to take pre-orders for that at the $20 turnaround. And she specifically reaches into families who have maybe been struggling with finances to teach them how a certain kind of savings plan or a certain kind of investing plan, whatever's right for them, will get them to their goals.
And that's September 17th at 7 p.m.
Yes. And also, we are in the middle of the Reading Comprehension Contest sponsored by Dark Horse Florida Publishing. And that's going on now through September 28th. And that more information on that can be found on Dark Horse Florida Publishing Facebook page.
Yes, they have that. They have the Reading Comprehension Contest that is, there's 2 different books that you can read and answer 12 questions each. And for every question you get right, you get an entry. And to win the drawing on
September 28th.
September 28th at the MarketSpace for Good. And there is a prize for a $50 gift card. And then there's runner-up prizes, and one of them is a $25 gift card to shop at MarketSpace for Good.
Yeah. And there's also Scary Story Writing Contest. You've probably heard the promotion here on our show. It played a little while ago, but it's an actual contest for Tampa Bay area high schoolers to write a scary story. Again, you can find more information on these things at Dark Horse Florida Publishing Facebook page. But And we just want you to make sure you're writing these things down. They go, oh, well, you don't have to write them on your calendar. You can go to shoplocalforgoodnews.com and find out all about Mac and Cheesy Good on November 3rd at New Hope Church of Palm Harbor.
And Jay, we want to wrap up with because you always come up with the most inspirational ways to say things.
Well, I am a fan of the language. We think in language, and as an anthropologist, I took a linguistics course, and we do think in language. So the Regeneration Station is the destination for inspiration, education, participation, and celebration, because we're also going to have events where people can just come to have fun, music, movies, all of that.
It's a beautiful piece of property.
It is a wonderful piece of property, and my father has built an amazing thing, and that story is a rags to riches, and it's a love story, and it's a redemption story, and it's all of that. So come on out.
Your parents are awesome.
They are. I have to agree with you.
I love your parents.
So you'll be there, Jay, today to tell those stories and
I
share
will
that.
be there, and they will be there.
Yes.
Come and meet them in person.
Oh, that's
Bud and Marie. I'll just give them a shout out.
Good. Yeah.
Well, that's
how about your beautiful wife? Is she coming out?
Actually, she is going to be away today with some.
She's doing some work.
Yeah, she's with the president of New College and and a county commissioner from Tampa, and her girlfriends. So
okay, great. But that's the Urban Regeneration Station located at 6785
46th Avenue North.
46th Avenue North.
Northwest St. Petersburg.
Which is right across from the Jack of Spades Lounge.
Yes, it's right across from the Lava Lounge. And
yeah.
So is that why it starts at a certain time, but there's no end time? Because, if it ends with you having a beer and
there's a cottage on the premises. I can go to bed right there if I need to.
Yes. Well, there's a beautiful patio area that you're looking about creating.
We've already created a food forest behind the cottage. The cottage will be a share B&B.
I love that.
Where people will come, they will spend the night, and then they will share with us what they think the experience was worth.
Good.
That's the idea at the moment.
Right.
And I am certain that there will be competition.
Who gets
because
in?
it's open source, and
Yeah.
everyone will be thanked for their gift.
Very good. Very good.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to next week.
I am too. We have Kids Campaign.
Yes, Christine and Melanie. And they have some other events coming up because this month, September, is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month.
Oh.
So this is their busiest month. So I'm glad we could get them. Plus, Christine is a single mom and she works very hard. And Kids Campaign is an all volunteer campaign. So nonprofit. But we want to thank everybody for tuning in today for 2 hours on a Monday morning. And we want to thank our guests for getting up way early and joining us for Monday Motivation. Please go to Shop Local for Good Facebook page, or if you're not on Facebook, you can find us at shoplocalforgoodnews.com. We have lots of inspirational events and people coming up. If you have a story about a small business owner or a local nonprofit leader that's doing good in your neighborhood, we definitely want you to put their story on our radar. You can contact us through the shoplocalforgoodnews.com contact us page, or you can send us a message on our Facebook page, Shop Local for Good on Facebook.
Yeah, and we want to give a special thank you to Barry Sullivan, who was here today with New Hope Church, his youth pastor, the youth pastor there. Thank you, Barry, for coming in and sharing the vision of what you're doing with the youth at New Hope Church and for the community. And Jungle Jay Hardman, thank you so much for coming out and sharing about the Urban Regeneration Station.
It's been my pleasure.
And what it means to our community. All of us are part of our community. We should all be involved, right?
Sure.
And we want to thank our behind the scenes camera girl, Lorena. She's like, oh, Mom. I told her she was getting up early and I said, can you hold the camera for 2 hours? Yep, I got this. And I once again, a huge thank you to our producer, Ed, for coming out on
the holiday.
And we hope you have a wonderful rest of the Labor Day holiday. We are heading out. We're going to stop at our friends A&G's Grill on Drew Street for a breakfast. Love that family. Yummy breakfast. And then we're heading into the MarketSpace for good. Thank you, everybody, for being with us on our inaugural show on the Tan Talk Network. We look forward to hearing from you soon, and we look forward to next week. See you then.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay, WZHR, Zephyr Hills,
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Tropical Storm Gordon. Red flag warning. I'm Michael Toscano. Storm warnings have been issued for parts of South Florida as Tropical Storm Gordon has now formed over the Upper Keys. Meteorologist Chad Myers.
It will leave South Florida for today. You could even get a water spout on land South Florida for today. We'll watch that. And then into the Gulf of Mexico, into very warm water, and then producing 6 to 7 inches of rainfall.
And Chad tells us New Orleans will be in the bullseye next for Gordon. Bill Michaels reports the red flags are out this morning on the West Coast.
Parts of extreme northern California and southern Oregon will have heightened fire conditions through Tuesday. A red flag warning is in effect for that region, meaning a combination of high winds, warm temperatures, and low humidity will make any fire burning in the area difficult to control.
Aaron McLaughlin reports Amsterdam police are still questioning the suspect in the stabbing attack that left 2 Americans wounded at a train station there.
Authorities say they believe terror is the motive in this case, though still subject to an ongoing investigation. They do not believe the Americans were deliberately targeted.
The 2 injured Americans remain in serious but not critical condition. Senator John McCain has passed into history with his burial at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. And Bob Costantini tells us the political world is focusing now on who will be appointed to his seat.
The senator's widow, Cindy McCain, has been mentioned repeatedly by national media as a potential appointment, but local media are also reporting on well-known Arizona names for the position to hold a seat until a 2020 special election, which at that time would be fulfilling the last 2 years of McCain's current 6-year term. Former Senator John Kyle would be a logical choice, a traditional Republican with good conservative credentials. Former Representative John Shadegg and well-known former State Attorney General Grant Woods are likely to be on the list for Governor Doug Ducey to consider. Bob Costantini, Washington.
State law requires the replacement to be a member of the previous senator's party. I'm Michael Toscano.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Curb appeal. You know it when you see it. And with the Home Depot, you can absolutely get it. Boost your curb appeal with the best brands at the best prices. From new garage doors to colorful flowers. From exterior lights to a new coat of paint. From inspiration to installation. You can get everything you need to boost your curb appeal on a budget. Like select special order windows and doors. Now 15% off. The Home Depot. More saving. More doing. Offer valid through September 12th. U.S. only. See store for details.
This is Downtown Dave. How would you like to be able to promote yourself, your business, or someone else's business for less than the cost of one 60-second commercial on many Tampa Bay radio stations? Here's the deal. You can have your own 1-hour radio program on the Tan Talk Network for less than the cost of one 60-second announcement on many Tampa Bay stations. Your program will be on 2 Tampa Bay radio stations and will cover 4 million people in Florida, plus worldwide on the internet in both audio and video. And you'll have a web link for your business on